The clock struck midnight. The bell echoed through the ancient creaking mansion. I picked my way across the dark halls, clutching my flashlight so tight my knuckles hurt. Oh, brat. Not bad, you little brat. Nearly gave me a heart attack, as if there were any ghosts here, like I'd be scared. Pearl Bagot, HEIRESS extraordinaire, please. Suddenly, something brushed past the small of my back. It couldn't just be a rat. Everyone in high society knew the Baggots. Wealthy, famous, untouchable. And I was Pearl Bagot, the heiress, the only child. Don't forget to like and subscribe. My life was perfect, except for...
Miss, your father and mother's wedding is about to begin. They would like you to arrive early.
I'm not going, and Melanie is not my mother. My mother left when I was a baby. My dad, Mr. Bagot, ordered everyone never to speak of her. I grew up with no real memory of her face or her name, just a few hazy flashes of a gentle smile. Then Melanie showed up, sliding into the role of my father's lover. She was a famous actress with a squeaky clean reputation, sweet as pie in public, but I'd seen the mask slip. So when my father and Melanie wanted to announce their secret relationship to the world and throw a wedding of the century, I was not about to be part of it. Then Melanie came back from her honeymoon in a torn wedding dress and with her face smeared.
Oh, everything's awful. We were robbed, and my poor husband, Mr. Bagot, he risked his life to save me, and he's probably not gonna make it.
My limbs went ice cold, but I forced myself to stay composed. If the Bagot name fell into chaos, vultures would circle. I had to act fast. Order the private guards to find my father and host a charity ball. Invite every socialite in the book.
And Lady Melanie. Miss?
Keep her under strict watch. She's not cleared of my father's disappearance. The ball was set up in a hurry. I stood in the middle of the crowd, composed and poised. Even though I was grieving and full of questions about my father, I knew I had to be the rock that held the family together. From this moment, I, Pearl Bagot, would temporarily assume head of the household while my father was missing.
I object.
Melanie burst in, followed by a phalanx of guards. The guests gasped. I'm 18. I have all legal right to inherit. A common law wife like you has no standing here.
Pearl is not Mr. Bagot's biological daughter.
Her words hit like a torpedo. My eyes went wide. She slammed a DNA test on the podium, proving I wasn't his blood, plus a power of attorney naming her as the successor if anything happened to him. The signature was his.
When we reached the robbers' hideout, we only found these papers and a few relics belonging to Mr. Bagot as the family's longtime servant. I swear, it's all genuine.
In an instant, I went from noble heiress to the town Joe high society spread rumors about the imposter child, aka me, and Melanie. She put on her sweetest smile and played the grieving wife.
Even if Pearl wasn't Mr. Bagot's biological child, we still loved her. We would send her to the manor in the countryside, the very estate Mr. Bagot once gave his ex-wife, who is Pearl's mother.
Just like that, because of Melanie's words, I was shipped off to a backwoods mansion. People stared like I was a walking headline. Right. Who willingly moved into a supposedly haunted castle? The place looked like Valak would pop out at any second and freak me out. All my accounts were frozen. The little savings I had left paid only for a detective to trace my father's steps. I put on my brave face and marched inside. No time for sulk. I tossed and turned on the bed and couldn't sleep. Everything sucked. The mattress was rock hard and the blanket smelled like something gross had been puked into it. Then a strange noise echoed below. Someone was moving on the floor below. I crept through the dark to find the source. It was just a tiny mouse. Then something bumped my back. Two blood-curdling screams shattered the silence. I scrambled to flee from the ghost, but my limbs tangled up like noodles. Wait, soft, warm, and it had legs. Who the heck are you? You better not be here to steal anything. Get out now before I call the cops.
You're the one who should go. This is my and my mom's place.
This is Bagot property. But the kid didn't care. She went full-on aggressive, all claws out. We ended up in this wild fight, and somehow I managed to throw her out. Then I dragged myself back to bed, every inch of me aching. What a freaking day. The next morning, I woke up to someone pounding on the door. Ugh, what do you want now, little thief?
My name's Jade. I came to apologize.
Turns out, after that chaotic night, her grandma dragged her over to my place by the ear.
Grandma said help her with whatever she needs. So yeah, any requests, princess?
I don't eat those dirt-covered veggies, and I don't need help.
Cooking, fixing stuff. That's my specialty. Judging by your outfit, I'm guessing you've never lifted a finger in your life.
Okay, fine. She wasn't wrong. After that, Jade started coming around more often. Turns out, she wasn't as awful as I thought. She was clever, practical, full of energy. She showed me how to plant a garden, fix a leaky roof, even brought me food sometimes.
Need a hand, ladies?
Hey, Dean.
Dean was her neighbor. He's smart, funny, a little sneaky, but genuinely kind. He won me over fast.
I thought you were just some rich girl playing country life. Guess I was wrong. You're tougher than you look.
Thanks to Jade and Dean, I started blending in. Life out here wasn't so bad. Here I got to just be pearl-free, relaxed. Not that perfect, cold-hearted heiress everyone expected me to be.
Isn't this nice? I wish you'd stay here. Stay with me.
I can't. I still have responsibilities. I need to find my father and clear my name. Lately, Dean kept asking about my past and about us. I wanted to trust him. I really did. But my mission came first. Find Dad, expose Melanie. Then Jade rolled in, holding up a mirror. I froze. I knew that mirror. Jade, you took something from the mansion again.
Mom used to love this mirror. I just wanted to keep it as a memory. It's not like you need it.
That was the problem with Jade. She kept sneaking stuff out of the castle, saying it belonged to her mom. Why my mother's old place was filled with her family's memories was beyond me. Days later, the detective finally called.
We almost found him, but lost the trail. We'll need more funding to continue.
I had just enough saved for that, but when I opened my drawer, my money was gone. I thought I knew who had done this. Where's my money?
What money?
Don't you dare deny it. My savings, every last bit is gone, and you're the only one who's always snooping around the house, you little thief.
I'm not a thief.
When things hit the roof, we started fighting. Dean tried to break it up, but it was useless. Then we froze. The sound of cameras clicking all around us. Reporters were everywhere.
Poor Pearl. Never recovered from learning she's not really a Baggett. She's been violent. I have to take her home for her own good. That's what Mr. Baggett would have wanted.
Guards grabbed me, forcing me into a car. Jade tried to run after me, but got blocked.
Good job. Here's your reward.
Dean looked at me, confused and guilty. He hesitated for a moment, then took the money. At that moment, everything made sense. Melanie kept me locked down, watching my every move. I knew what she was doing. She didn't want anyone to find my father. She wanted the Baggett throne all to herself. But now I was completely helpless. I couldn't trust anyone. And the only person who had ever treated me genuinely, I ended up hurting her.
Psst, Pearl.
How did you get in here?
That witch looks like she's about to lock you up forever. Come on, I've got a plan. Let's go.
Jade moved like a wildcat. We slipped past the guards, sneaked through the back gate, and there he was. Dean was waiting outside.
Melanie paid me to spy on you, but when they took you, I realized how wrong I'd been. I'm sorry.
Jade, I'm sorry too, for doubting you. Let's go. I hid out at Jade's house for a while. The place was full of photos, all of the same woman, smiling gently, a smile I knew.
Do you recognize her?
I'm not sure, but is that my mother? She began to tell me everything. What really happened? Years ago, Melanie had seduced my father while my mother was pregnant with Jade. Heartbroken, Mom moved into the old mansion, living quietly until she met kind neighbors who helped her feel less alone. She later moved into Jade's grandma's house, where she lived a simple, happy life until her health failed.
From the moment you arrived, I knew you two were sisters. That's why I kept pushing Jade to be close to you. I just couldn't risk telling the truth, because the Baggetts would have made her life miserable.
Jade threw her arms around me, sobbing uncontrollably. I hugged her back, tears burning my eyes. Heart pain, heart joy.
These letters, they're from your father and mother. They prove Jade is Mr. Baggett's daughter. I think they'll help you.
Then I'll fight for both of us. No one's taking what's ours again. Melanie had taken full control of the family, celebrating her leadership with a grand, flashy party. But right in the middle of her spotlight moment, Jade and I pushed open the doors. My father has another daughter, Jade. She's my sister, and here's proof. Letters between my parents. Melanie has no right to the Baggett name.
Letters? Please, you could have forged those yourself.
Only you would do that with my DNA testing results.
Unless you've somehow brought Mr. Baggett himself here, you've got nothing.
Then let him speak for himself.
The crowd gasped as Dean helped my father walk in. He looked frail, dressed in a hospital gown. Melanie went pale.
Guards, arrest her. She's the traitor.
Dean told me everything. It had all been Melanie's plan to seize control of the Baggett family. Dean was her accomplice, the one keeping tabs on me and holding my father captive. In the end, they both had to face the consequences of what they'd done.
I had to do the right thing, or you'd never forgive me.
After everything, my father handed the family title over to me. He regretted leaving my mom for Melanie, so he poured all his love and care into Jade instead. But Jade refused the luxury life of a rich heiress. She stayed a cheerful little farm girl, living peacefully with Grandma. I turned my mother's old mansion into a cozy retreat. I visit often, spending warmth, quiet days there with Jade and Grandma.
Hey, Pearl. Dean's coming back soon. You should invite him too.
Yeah, I miss him too. Hi, I'm June Carter, 15 years old. At 15, people called me a genius. Mom's a businesswoman while Dad was a hard-working professor, even though he passed away 5 years ago and I got all their brains. We lived in a regular apartment in the heart of New York, aka the city that never sleeps. Every weekend came with the soundtrack of construction. Even when I was trying to read the encyclopedia, it felt like someone was drilling straight into my head. One afternoon, I came home and saw Mom buried under a mountain of stuff. So, are we starting a new gig in shipping or something?
We're moving.
Moving? Where? Why?
Somewhere in the suburbs. Quiet, fresh air. You'll like it.
I tried to figure it out with my genius-level brain, but it came up empty.
You'll know soon, sweetie. Just trust me, okay?
I mean, I already packed, didn't I? I totally passed out in the car until it screeched to a stop in front of this giant, ancient, filthy rich mansion. Mom, did we get lost or something? She didn't answer, just waved for me to follow her down the stone path. The door opened. A butler bowed in front of us.
Welcome home, Miss Carter. The madam is in her room.
Wait, what? 2 minutes later, I was standing next to Mom in a fancy room. On the big bed lay a woman I'd never seen in my life. She looked like royalty.
June, this is your grandmother, Margaret.
I have a grandma? Yup, I did. She was the CEO of some big deal investment firm.
She's fixing her will, but that's not why we're here. June, we're just visiting.
Sure, totally believable. But my biggest question was, why the heck didn't Mom ever tell me about her grandma Margaret? Before I could even speak, a man stormed into the room without knocking. Right behind him were a girl and a guy around my age. Turns out he was my uncle, and those two were totally my cousins.
This is Clarissa, 17, and Joseph, 16. What perfect timing, huh, June?
Clarissa looked like she walked out of a Ralph Lauren ad, chill and full of herself. She shook my hand like she was a queen and I was the local peasant. Joseph didn't even try to act nice. From the way they looked at me, I could tell they saw me as competition for the inheritance. That night, I just stared at the ceiling, hearing my uncle's voice on loop.
What perfect timing, huh, June?
That was not a welcome obvi, so I made a choice. Let them think I was harmless. Let them underestimate me. I'd play dumb and stay chill. The next morning at breakfast, then, I happened to ask Clarissa was passing by, do we have any oat milk? I read somewhere cows are like totally extinct. Clarissa almost choked and Joseph snorted. Good, let them think I'm clueless. Right then, I heard Grandma yelling. A maid came rushing out with her wheelchair. She was crying.
She's being cranky again.
She hates looking weak in that chair.
So she hadn't left her room in months. Boring. Guess it was time I said hi to Grandma. I made a bold move and asked her out for a stroll. Good afternoon, madam. Your royal chariot a wet. Luckily, she didn't scream at me, but she didn't look thrilled either.
Do I look like I'm dying to you?
No, but I think the Roses could really use a firm supervisor. They've been kind of rebellious lately. My dumb comment actually made her laugh, and somehow I became the first person to get Grandma Margaret out of her room in forever. That walk changed everything. We got to know each other. Turns out Grandma wasn't cold. She was indeed soft-hearted. I had a feeling Clarissa and Joseph wouldn't win by just showing off.
Oh, my lady's out for a garden stroll today.
That's when I met Fred, son of the gardener, but honestly, he was closer to Grandma than anyone else in the house. You should have seen them. Meanwhile, I kept dodging my oh-so-charming cousins like a pro. Clarissa was still proudly parading her medals and certificates to Grandma, and of course, she got praised every single time.
Have you ever heard of the company's renovation budget, June?
She was testing me. Hold on, I'm hurting these ants right now. What did you say?
Never mind.
Eventually, Clarissa just stopped acknowledging me, but Joseph, not yet. One morning while I was making tea for Grandma, Joseph strolled up all friendly and handed me a little jar. Said it was the best kind of sugar for the elderly. Naturally, I used it. Grandma took a sip, then froze completely.
June made that tea just for you, Grandma. Oh my gosh. This girl just put salt in the tea.
I saw this TikTok that said seniors sometimes need more sodium for blood circulation.
That's creative and thoughtful.
Joseph looked like he just bit into a lemon. Guess he didn't expect me to dodge his little trap like that. June 1st, Joseph, salty. Somehow, those wheelchair walks with Grandma became a daily thing. Her stories were like old novels worn dramatic, but totally fascinating. And little by little, she opened up.
I was engaged once, but I chose the Carter name instead. I was young, foolish, hungry for power. Your mother didn't want that life. She chose love. And she left. I let her.
And she's never regretted that choice. And just like that, I had my answer. Why? I'd never heard of Grandma Margaret until now. I wasn't mad at Mom. I admired her more than ever. Then one day, I got tasked with finding her beloved cat, Duchess. While wandering in the garden, I heard a thump in the dry grass, followed by Duchess' familiar meow. If you jump off the roof and land on this patch of grass, you could survive as long as you hit it at the right angle and the air drag doesn't mess you up too bad. But seriously, don't pull that kind of stunt again. Got it?
Most Most people don't really factor in air resistance, you know?
Fred had showed up out of nowhere, holding a plate of lemon tart, probably meant for Grandma. Oh.
If you were really clueless, you could never say things like that.
He handed me a slice and walked away. That look he gave me was like he saw straight through the act, and that's when I noticed Clarissa and Joseph were there too.
I knew it. She's been playing us this whole time, pretending to be all sweet and innocent. Just a fool, Grandma.
Not even a second later, the two of them stormed straight into Grandma's room and slammed the door shut. My stomach dropped. If they started digging, they'd definitely find the articles about me, the brainiac who won all those competitions. The harmless little June image would be gone. A little later, the door opened again. Clarissa walked out, calm as ever. Meanwhile, Joseph shot me that smug little smirk of his.
Grandma's not in the mood for her walk today. You should go back to your room. Oh, and she wants to talk to you tomorrow morning. And tomorrow night, she's announcing the will. Let your mom know.
That night, I couldn't sleep, just like my first night here. But this time, it wasn't about strategy. I was scared. I cared about Grandma, the woman who used to glare at anyone who brought her a wheelchair, who now trusted me to push it. She told me stories no one else had heard. She let me in, and I lied. The next morning, I stepped into her room like I was walking into court, but when she looked at me, her smile was so soft, like Clarissa and Joseph hadn't said a single word to her.
June, if I didn't choose you, would you still stay?
I didn't come here to be chosen. I'm staying because I love you.
That's all, dear. You can go now. See you at dinner.
I sat outside on the swing, totally spaced out, thinking about what just happened. Was she mad? Did she forgive me?
You okay?
She knows everything. I shouldn't have faked it.
Yeah, you shouldn't have. But even smart people do dumb stuff sometimes.
Fred always knew how to say the right thing. No wonder Grandma adored him. That night was the first time Grandma joined us for dinner. And the tension? You could cut it with a spoon.
I've made my decision.
I swear I could hear the clock ticking.
The one who will inherit the estate and lead the company is June.
My breath caught. My heart was doing somersaults. Why me? Why someone who didn't even play the game? My uncle stood up so fast. Then he walked straight out of the room. Didn't say a single word. Clarissa didn't flinch. Didn't get mad either. She just froze.
But she's a straight-up liar. How could you trust her?
I've known for a while, a truly foolish child could never pretend the way June did. What I saw wasn't deception. It was restraint, kindness, wisdom, and I believe you can do this.
Joseph shoved his chair back, then stormed out. Clarissa looked at me, then said, smiled.
I'll help you. If you want to learn more about the company, just ask.
Thank you, seriously. After dinner, I spotted Mom standing in the hallway. She looked nervous, like really nervous.
She asked to talk. After all this time, she asked me to sit with her.
Mom stayed in Grandma's room for a long time that night. I had no idea what they talked about, but afterwards, she hugged me tight and whispered,
"Thank you."
And I knew something broken had finally started to heal. I stepped outside and saw Fred waiting for me. He looked like the main lead from a K-drama.
Hey mutant, not gonna lie, you're kinda terrifying when you look all wise and enlightened.
You stalking me now?
Just doing Grandma's bidding, taking you to your new school.
Hi, I'm Bella from New York. Before I tell you my story, please like and subscribe. My aunt said my parents had an accident when I was a baby. And since then, I've lived with her and my cousin Lucy. But you never guessed another kid lived in this house. All the wall frames had pictures of just Aunt and Lucy. Lucy had the biggest room, bursting with toys and books. Lucy had so many clothes she had another room as a closet. And me, well, I lived in the attic with her hand-me-downs. But I didn't care. All I ever really wanted was for Aunt to love me like she loved Lucy. So I did whatever Aunt asked me. I served her breakfast in bed, polished her shoes, painted her nails. But somehow she was just never happy. Once when I was 10, a new neighbor came to visit Aunt, and she looked awestruck when she saw me.
What a beautiful child. That gorgeous red hair and those adorable dimples.
Adorable? They're just dents in her face. Stop smiling, Bella. You look like a moron. Go get us tea.
I went to the kitchen, spat in Aunt's tea, and gave her the cup with a very serious face there. But soon after I turned 13, my whole life was transformed. One day at breakfast, Aunt was going through the mail when suddenly she spat out her cereal. Just then, I saw the letter she was reading. It had my name on it. Hey, what's that? But Aunt had already jumped off her chair and she threw the letter in the fireplace. Why'd you do that? It was mine. I saw my name.
And who would write to you? You didn't see anything.
As she stormed off, I couldn't help thinking, who would write to me? A few days later, the doorbell rang, and a postman was standing outside.
Express delivery for Ms. Bella.
Suddenly, a flying figure pushed me aside and attacked the postman. Oh my God, Aunt! I tried snatching the letter from her, but she was off with it like a bullet. What the freaking turtle? What was she hiding? I was dying to find out, but the letters stopped coming. But one evening when the bell rang, Aunt ran to open the door. And standing outside were 2 bodyguards with a wealthy-looking man.
Can you explain what happened to the letters and plane tickets I sent for my daughter?
Wait, what? Just then the man spotted me, and his eyes welled up.
Oh my God, you must be Bella. You look exactly like your mother. I'm your dad, sweetie.
Dad? You're my dad? Why didn't you come for me before? He tearfully explained that he and Mom had gotten divorced before I was born, and she told him never to get in touch. He found out just recently that Mom had an accident so long ago, and he tracked me down. As we hugged tight, I turned around to Aunt. You made me think he wasn't even alive. And why were you keeping the letters from me?
Because you don't deserve to go live like a princess. You should be my maid, after everything I've done for you.
Used to you? I did everything you ever asked just so you'd love me. Did you ever love me at all? Even a little?
No, how could I?
Dad told me to pack my things immediately, but before going, I made sure to rub Aunt's toothbrush inside the toilet. Then I took Dad's hand and left without even saying goodbye. We flew over to New York, and I was shocked at the size of Dad's mansion. My room was 5 times bigger than Lucy's. This was freaking awesome! As Dad was showing me around the house, I suddenly saw a tall woman staring at me coldly from a distance. Dad was married, so that must be my stepmom.
Mary, there you are. Come meet Bella.
But Mary just turned away and slammed the door behind her. Later that night, I walked past their bedroom to hear Dad and Mary talking in loud voices.
It's her first day here, Mary. Think how unwelcome she must have felt.
What about me? You just expect you'll bring a child home and I'll start loving her like she's my own.
I crept away without hearing any more. Great! Another mom figure who already hated me. When I went down for breakfast the next morning, Dad greeted me with a smile, and so did Mary.
Sorry, Bella. I wasn't feeling too well yesterday. I hope you slept well.
Yeah, as if she cared. When I asked Dad for the orange juice, Mary quickly got up to pour it for me, and she dropped the whole jug in my lap. Oh my God, what are you doing?
I'm so sorry, it just slipped from my hands.
I know you don't want me here, but you don't have to be so petty. With that, I stormed off. Her whole innocent act was fake, and she proved me right soon enough. A few days later, I was walking over to the sofa in the living room when suddenly I tripped over something. I went flying straight into this weird statue. I stared at the wreck in horror. Mary leapt up angrily from her armchair.
Oh my God! How could you be so clumsy? Do you know what that's worth?
Just then, Dad burst into the room, and behind him were some guests.
What happened? We heard a loud crash.
Oh, honey. Bella broke the statue by accident, but thankfully she's not hurt.
Dad looked really upset, but stayed silent. I couldn't stop myself, though. You were just shouting at me, but the minute Dad came in, you became an angel.
What? No, I was just shocked. I didn't mean to shout.
Stop acting, Mary. You just want me to look bad in front of Dad. I think you tripped me up with your leg.
What? You little brat! How dare you? You must have tripped on the carpet.
That's enough. In case you both forget we have guests, Bella, please go to your room.
I walked off angrily and slammed my door shut. I didn't trust her one bit. Dad got me enrolled in school soon, and I felt nervous walking into the huge building. A few kids were looking at me, and I smiled. And suddenly, a bunch of boys were surrounding me.
Oh my God, can you do that again?
Do what?
Smile, please. Smile again.
I did, and all the boys just stared at me. What was wrong with my smile?
Those dimples are so freaking cute. I could just look at them all day. Wow. These dents in my face, like boys like these.
Just then, a girl pushed through the crowd.
Get away from her, you morons. You're scaring her. Hi, I'm Nora, and I don't have a redhead in my group. You look nice and rich, so we're friends now, okay?
Well, she wasn't really giving me a choice. I was part of her popular girls gang now. I loved my new school. But it started bothering me really soon that Nora could be rather mean to other kids. I tried to tell her a few times, but she always said she was only joking. But then, one day, I walked into the cafeteria and I saw her and her friends making fun of a kid on crutches.
Hey, Limpy, what would happen if I took away one of your legs?
And with that, she pulled away a crutch, and he landed hard on the ground. Nora, are you crazy? He's already hurt. Why are you bothering him?
Oh, come on. We're just joking around.
But it's not funny. You're just being a jerk bully.
Hey, no one talks to me like that, tomato girl.
She pounced on me and pinned me against the wall. I pushed her back, and she went crashing straight into the chemistry teacher walking by. He dropped all the bottles he was holding, and the vile smell of chemicals had everyone gagging and running out of there. And Nora and I got suspended for a week. Dad would be so disappointed. When I went down that evening to tell him, he wasn't in his study. But I found freaking Nora poking her nose through his things. She just picked up a pen and put it in her pocket. What are you doing in my house?
Your house? You live here? Since when?
You're interrogating me, you thief. Put that pen back right now or else.
Or else? What does that even mean?
I leapt at her, trying to reach her pocket as she fought back and screamed. Suddenly, we were pulled apart by Mary and another woman.
This witch attacked me. She's the one who got me suspended too. Mom.
Bella, Nora is my guest. Her mom and I are friends. What's going on here?
I guess I just have better taste in friends than you. I brushed past her and stormed off. Of course, Mary was friends with awful people like herself. A few days later, Dad was away on a business trip, and someone quietly opened my door at midnight. To my surprise, it was Mary with a hand behind her back. What? What do you want?
Your dad told me it's your birthday, and I just came to say, well, happy birthday.
She stepped forward with a cake with candles on it. I never had a birthday cake before. I thanked her awkwardly, and she sat down on the bed.
Bella, I think we got off on the wrong foot, and I'd really like to start over. Maybe we can get to know each other better.
She looked really sincere, and I wondered if I'd judged her too quickly. Yeah, I think I'd like that, Mary. We started hanging out more, and I found myself actually liking her. She took me to lovely cafes, shows, and galleries around New York. She had the best taste in clothes, and shopping with her was so much fun. Soon after Dad returned, Mary threw me the most amazing birthday party ever. It was the best day of my life. A couple of months later, there was a dance in school, and I'd been asked out by this new boy who had all the girls drooling. That evening, I wore a gorgeous dress Mary had picked out for me. She'd even done my hair and makeup. I received so many compliments, and my date just couldn't keep his eyes off of me. We were slow dancing to a song when suddenly someone pulled the back of my dress really hard, and I heard the fabric rip. Oh my God. I turned around in horror to see Nora grinning and holding part of my dress. But everyone was staring at my back, at a long, ugly scar.
Look, Marcus. Look at that disgusting thing on her back. It's like she's freaking Frankenstein.
Suddenly, I leapt forward and slapped her hard. The only monster here, Nora, is you. I ran out in angry tears and got into my car. I didn't care if anyone knew about my stupid scar, but the only person who could have told Nora about it was Mary. She'd seen it when she was helping me try on a dress one day. I burst into the living room and started screaming. How could you be such a witch, Mary? You almost made me believe you cared about me.
What? What are you talking about? What happened to your dress?
Nora ripped my dress because you told her about this scar. Even Dad doesn't know. I only told you, and you thought it could be something you tell Nora to use against me. You're the most horrible person I know. You're even worse than my aunt. I hate you. As I cried furiously in my room, Dad came in and hugged me.
Sweetheart, there must be some mistake. Mary wouldn't do this.
She would. She did. No one else could. Don't defend her, Dad. So if Nora thought I was going to be embarrassed and hide, she was so wrong. I went back to school the next day, expecting weird looks and comments. But what happened left me shocked. The principal walked in during the first lesson and said,
The entire class came to me this morning to complain about an incident at the dance yesterday. And there is no way that I will tolerate this kind of behavior in my school. Nora, you're expelled.
As Nora stared at her in horror, the whole class erupted into cheers and applause. This totally made up for everything. When I got home that afternoon, I heard screams from the living room. It was Nora's mom.
No one had been spying on Bella. Your stupid maid saw her scar one day and told us. And so what? My daughter played a harmless little prank, and now she deserves to be exposed, expelled, her entire future destroyed. All because of that stupid, disfigured, red-haired witch.
Don't you dare talk like that about my daughter.
And with that, Mary punched her.
Get out of my house. You are not welcome here.
However, as the butlers let her out and she went screaming, Mary suddenly saw me and I started to cry. I'm so sorry, Mary, for thinking it was you. I've had a hard time believing you could really care for me. I heard you the first day you said you couldn't love me like your own. And I guess I've been scared to love you in case you didn't love me back.
Oh, darling, I said that. Yes, because I couldn't love you right away. It was all so new for me, too. I've never been anyone's mom, but I've tried so hard to get to know you and love you. And I really do now. Bella, I love you. You're my daughter as much as your dad's now.
I love you too.
Hey, I'm Kirsty, and I have an identical twin sister called Arabelle. We didn't have a normal upbringing as our mom abandoned us at an orphanage when we were 6. I'm not fully sure why she gave us up. I guess she was young and just couldn't cope. As little kids, my sister and I were close. We used to fool the other kids and the nuns into thinking that we were each other. Arabelle always wore a pink bow in her hair, so we'd both wear one and freak the kids out by double-crossing them in the corridors. Those were good times. But when we got older, everything has changed. I started to become green with envy. And Arabelle, everyone always liked her more than me. The nuns called her Little Cat, and every kid kept surrounding her like she was a sparkling star or something. They all thought she was so sweet and polite. This annoyed me because I knew the real her. And she wasn't sweet at all, if not a completely fake girl. And she just knew exactly what to say and do to get the most from people. Then when we were 12, a lot had been happening that completely changed our lives. The orphanage had financial problems that could not be saved. Our nuns loved us so much that they didn't want to lose any of us, but they had no choice but to allow the social organization to find us adoptive parents. The nuns didn't want my sister and I to be apart, so they sent us to 2 families in the same town. But the God of justice must be blind as usual. Arabelle was way luckier than me. She was adopted by a wealthier family. My parents loved me anyway, but, well, she received all the best things, and that was just not fair. We went to the same school, and I was so sick of listening to her bragging. When we were at the orphanage, we used to wear the same kind of clothes, but now things were different. Arabelle always stayed in style, wearing the most beautiful clothes. So, although we are identical twin sisters, whenever we stand next to each other, she would be like a queen and I would be a maid. She easily got everything I ever wished for. Princess bed, a large window with a sea view, piano and ballet classes, and an amazing mom and dad. She talked about it all the time, and I got sick hearing it. It seemed like all of the greatest things were not enough for her. She didn't appreciate what they gave her, and just always wanted more. If I were her, I would enjoy that dream life with gratitude and respect. Everything I got. Life was so unfair. Why did Arabelle always have the best? While a girl like me was suffering from the day I was born, adopting one part of a twin made our 2 new families close. My new family was always visiting Arabelle's big house for barbecues and nice dinners. To be honest, I did not want to go there at all. It was not a simple family meeting. It was just an event for her to show up. Her parents were so nice, and just by looking at the way they treated her, I could tell that they loved her so much. They often patted her head and called her puppy. Arabelle acted all sweet then behind their backs. She said this nickname made her feel sick. As she wasn't 5, no one seemed to realize the truth. Arabelle was absolutely not as cute as they ever thought. She actually was kind of insolent, haughty, boastful girl, and most of all, she was a fake. I remember one time when her mother's birthday party was taking place. Her mom looked stunning in that gorgeous dress, and people in the room just stayed silent for a while to show their impressing. Arabelle pretended to be cute and gave tons of compliments to her mom. But as soon as her mom turned her back on us, Arabelle whispered to me, "Look at her stupid smile. She is thinking that she really is beautiful, while everyone knows that I'm the one who looks stunning here." I was so sick of her double life. She was so lucky living that great life, but she had no appreciation for what she already had, and she was so fake. One time, I tried to unmask her true colors. I tried to tell my parents and our mutual friend about how she'd acted behind their backs, but they never believed me and just told me to stop being mean and selfish. They didn't understand a thing about her real version and even scolded me. I was the one who deserved that life, not that fake loser girl. That was when I decided to make a bigger plan. I wanted to replace Arabelle and live her life. I started staring at her work and copied her handwriting. I practiced imitating her voice. We sounded pretty similar, so this was easy. I secretly followed her and her lame friends at school so that I could learn all about their hobbies and habits, but my family was not as wealthy as theirs. I could only stand outside the restaurant, the clothing store, or the cinema. Watching Arabelle enjoy the good life just made my determination grow. When our families met up, I made an effort to get to know her parents more. Her mom likes playing the piano and her dad likes taking care of his bonsai trees. Her mom can't eat seafood, and her dad is allergic to peanut butter. I jotted down every little detail about her life in my planning book. There were a lot of things I needed to learn until I was fully confident that I could become a second Arabelle and successfully replace her. But then something suddenly happened that made me speed up my plan. This boy called Milo I liked at school started flirting with my sister, and she flirted back. She knew I liked him, but this didn't stop her from agreeing to go on a date with him. She was such a demon. At this point, I couldn't stand her walking around and stealing all the best things I've ever wanted in my life. I had a plan. Back when I was in the orphanage, there was a man who often came to us and said impolitely to the nuns that they should sell him some children to solve their financial worries. Of course, the nuns refused him and kicked him out. He continued to come over a couple of times, and once he gave us his phone number, saying that if any of us got into trouble, we could find him. Then the nun showed up and threatened to call the cops. Well, that was the last time I saw him. I always kept that number because I knew there would be a day I would need it, and that day finally came. I called him, and we came up with a plan to solve my Arabelle issue. He sent her an anonymous message telling her to come to a secluded corner in the park and to find out some juicy gossip about Milo. Of course, my nosy sister agreed. The man promised my sister would be sent to another place to work to help him earn money, and she wouldn't be harmed. I left a letter at home saying I'd had enough of the poor life, and I'd found a better place to go. I told my parents not to be sad and not to look for me. I hid in a corner of the park and waited for my sister to appear. Then when they took her, I could easily hop into her life and replace her. There would be no more Kirsty anymore, as I would perfectly be back as Arabelle. Well, the better version of her. Suddenly, I saw a black car stop in the distance. 2 tattooed guys got out of the car. I could see guns in their back. They stopped for a moment to wet a hanky with some liquid thing. This didn't feel right. I knew that this was going way too far. They would hurt my sister, and I was the one who was participating in this sin. And I knew that I would live in guilt for the rest of my life if I ever let it happen. I immediately ran out from where I was hiding, grabbed my sister's hand, and pulled her away. I heard their footsteps right behind us, so I ran as fast as possible to the crowd of people and screamed loudly at the same time to let people around pay attention to us. The other 2 men probably gave up when we ran into the crowd. After we got back to her home, I told her that I happened to be walking past and overheard the guy saying they were going to kidnap her. Then I just ran to reach her as fast as possible without thinking. She hugged me and thanked me for saving her life. She said that she always thought that I didn't like her, and she used to feel that way about me too. Wow, that moment she came clear that she used to think that I was just a gross, dirty girl and didn't deserve to be around her. And she, from time to time, tried to pretend herself in front of me just to make me jealous. She was so sorry for her selfish mind and promised to change her character for me. I also told her that sometimes I became so mean because of envy, but facing this dangerous situation made me realize how much she means to me, and I will not let jealousy blind me anymore. Turns out living a great life was that simple. We just need to talk straight and openly with each other to solve the problems between us. As for my parents, they read the letter, I left them and got upset. We had a good talk, and I realized I was being the ungrateful one. Yes, so they didn't have as much money as Arabelle's family did, but they were good people who cared about me. Arabelle hadn't been the only selfish one. I'd been selfish too. Life's good, and Arabelle and I are getting on better than ever. Still, the guilt from what I planned eats me up. Should I come clean about what really happened? Or should I keep it a secret and carry on like normal? I mean, it's not like anyone was hurt, right?